So today we're going to be talking to you about free trade and its negative effects on the environment.
So why are an engineer and a plastic surgeon speaking about the environment? Well, in our globalization class, we realized that in this more globalized world with countries just wanting more things, everyone a part of our generation, including the engineers and the plastic surgeons, will have to deal with the consequences.
All right, so to start us off, we're going to run a simulation of an economy. So now you can take out your bags. So in your bags, hopefully everyone has one, so you can run your own company. So you can take out the stuff from your bag. You should have pennies. Your pennies are going to be your money or your currency. And you should also have candy. The candy is going to be the product that you're going to try to sell to the people around you. So the goal of this game is to try to get as many different colors of candy as you can. So trade wisely. Also in your bag, you should have a slip of paper that will have something about your company.
If the slip of paper says that your company is not environmentally sustainable, then your candies will sell for 1 penny. However, because your company is not environmentally sustainable, for every candy you sell, you must burn one, meaning you eat it or put it away. If the slip of paper says that your company is environmentally sustainable, your candies will sell for 2 pennies. But because you must spend a little extra money to make your product environmentally sustainable, you will have to put away half the profits from your candy sales. For example, if I am to be selling a piece of candy to Evan, he will give me 2 pennies. But because my company is environmentally sustainable, I will take 1 penny and put it away. And now I no longer have this penny.
Then if I was running an environmentally unsustainable company, Julia would have to pay me 1 cent for one of my candies. But because of how wasteful and unsustainable my company's policies are, I'm going to have to put away another one of my candies. So we're going to give you guys about 1 minute and 30 seconds to trade with everyone else. Okay?
So we hope you guys had fun trading your candies. But what was the point of all this? What just happened? What probably happened was the companies without environmentally sustainable policies almost ran out of things to sell because their prices were so low. And then you probably also saw that companies with environmentally sustainable policies didn't really sell all that much because of their higher prices.
So this kind of begs the question, why don't we just have every company have an environmentally sustainable policy? And then we'll create an equal market.
Well, free trade has expanded our world market, allowing more companies to compete on a global level and appeal to a larger population. So how does one company successfully compete against all of these other companies? In other words, what makes one company's product more desirable than the same product of another company?
Well, one way that companies can attract customers is just simply to lower the price of their product. So that seems like a good way to attract customers, right?
Well, of course, but a company will not make much more of a profit if the price of production remains the same and the market price of their product continually decreases.
So how do companies deal with this? Well, then they turn to lowering the price of making their product. So now we have companies that have high consumer demand, they're turning huge profits, and everything is going great.
But everything isn't. Our environment has taken a huge hit. The tactics that industries have adopted to push down prices include using resources that we just don't have enough of. For example, oil is used to power large numbers of machinery in giant factories that pollute our water and air. In addition, companies are overproducing to avoid not having enough things to sell, as you probably saw in our simulation. But everything that isn't sold is just wasted.
So in addition to that, as more countries and people are entering the global market, companies are trying to meet the ever-rising consumer demand. And so more and more resources are being used up at an ever-increasing rate. At the rate we're going to have a global resource crisis in the near future. Companies are enabled and pushed to have bad environmental policies by free trade.
So to get an idea of just how bad our environment's doing, can we get everyone around the age of 50 to raise their hands?
All right. So for us high school students, you guys seem a long way away, but that time is coming disappointingly soon. In the time that it will take for us to reach your age, a lot will happen in the environment.
Scientists have predicted that by 2048, fisheries will all have collapsed. And that's not all. By the time we are around 55, there will just be no more oil left.
According to Gilbert Masters, a professor of environmental engineering at Stanford, the world's oil reserves only have 41 years left to live.
You probably also noticed this counter. What this shows is the tons of minerals that have been mined from the earth in just this year. You probably also noticed that it is increasing at an alarmingly high rate. In just our 12-minute speech, about over 1 million tons of minerals will have been mined.
So some of you may ask, what do we want the world we give to our children to be? Or what do we want our legacy to be? But for our generation, we must start to also ask, how will we live in this world that will be running out of resources?
People our age need to start to realize that the decisions we are making now will largely affect our future.
So to recap, why are all of our resources being gobbled up? Well, companies don't have an incentive to have environmentally sustainable practices. And if they do try to do so, then they don't get a return on their investment.
So all of this makes us ask the question, what can we do?
Well, as a consumer, you have a lot of power. When going to buy a product, you might come up with a quick answer to which one you like better. But for the environment, you're going to have to spend a little extra time.
So next time you're comparing two items and trying to decide which one you want to buy, you ask yourself, which one do I like better? But then add this question, which one does the environment like better? Because ultimately, what is better for the environment is better for us.
So the next time you're given a choice, spend a little extra time and money for the environment.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed our talk.